Okay, the question I want to ask you is a military one, because you're a brigadier general joining us from Israel. Do you think Netanyahu factored in the kind of retaliation that would come his way once Operation Rising Lion was started by the State of Israel? Has the Iranian missile response taken the State of Israel by surprise?
Not at all. We realized that this was part of the scheme. There was no doubt that the Iranians would try to retaliate. They did retaliate. Fortunately, our Air Force manages to control most of these relevant sites and the skies in the western part and the central part of Iran. But this was something that was totally expected. We were preparing for that defensive mode for years now. And I think that the results speak for themselves. We have both the means in terms of the technology of the air defense, Israeli air defense, which is the best in the world by far.
Right.
And then again, we also have the spirit of the people, the resilience of the Israeli people to hold on and to keep themselves safe as much as possible under the very dire circumstances. But absolutely, it was considered, it was prepared.
All right.
So we are not surprised by this particular part of the book.
All right. Now, you're saying that you were not surprised, but, in the course of the last 7 decades that the State of Israel has been in existence, never have we witnessed the kind of devastation that has been wreaked by the Iranian ballistic missiles, despite the fact that there is a clear disparity between what the Iranians are capable of and what the Israelis, who are backed by the Americans, are capable of. The level of destruction that has been wreaked in cities such as Tel Aviv and Haifa, where, according to reports, the Mossad headquarters has been hit, where the Israeli IDF's headquarters has been hit. What do you think this has done to the image of invulnerability that the Israelis had built up over the course of the last several decades?
Well, we understand completely that the situation is a very serious situation, that the Iranians still have, even 5-6 days after the start of the war, still they have a very robust kind of capacity to hit Israel and to cause damage. There is no doubt about that. But so far, in respect of the preparations and the assumptions and evaluations of the Israeli military,
right,
as to what is expected in terms of damage and fatalities, even though the situation is quite serious, we are still far, far away from the predictions, and we are very much inside the context of our capacity to do that, to defend ourselves. So absolutely, we will continue to work very, very hard. This is the job mainly of the Air Force and the other elements, to limit the capacity of the Iranians to hit our rear. We are working on that. Their capacity has been diminishing in the last few days. I mean, today is much better than it was tomorrow, etc., etc.
Right.
And we hope that we will be able to bring the level of threat to the minimum. It doesn't mean that we will be able to close our territory and our skies hermetically. This is not the case. This is not possible. But I think that we have to understand that compared with the potential threat and compared with the estimations as to what can happen, we are very much in a secure situation.
All right. Now, another thing that a lot of military experts are talking about is that, yes, Israel has a multi-layered, very robust air defense system. You've got the Iron Dome, you've got the David Sling, and you've also got the Arrow air defense systems that have all been in use to try and bring down the Iranian ballistic missiles, and they've done a very credible job. But the fact is also this: every single one of these interceptors is estimated to cost about $30,000 to $50,000 a pop. And replacing this is not going to be easy. With that being said, how long do you think the Israeli interceptor missiles will actually be in play? For how many days can you continue to keep shooting down the Iranian ballistic missiles?
Well, let's put it this way. Number one, you're absolutely correct that the war costs a lot of money. You have to remember that we are already in a war in different ways, of course, since October 7th of 2023, which is extremely costly to the Israeli economy. And also presently what's happening is, as you described, you're absolutely correct. There is no economic consideration. And we're not talking about days, but we're talking about a long range capacity to withhold our air defense activities. So this, if anything, if anybody is thinking that they can bring about a war of attrition against Israel that will last a long period of time, has to remember that Israel has almost a complete air control of the skies of two-thirds of Iran, from the center side of Iran all the way to the east. And we can basically do whatever we want to do to curb the threat and to diminish the threat of the rockets. And this is what's going to happen. So I am aware of the costs. I'm aware of the economic issues, but this will not hamper Israel from defending itself for a long range if needed.
All right. We will have to leave there. Thank you very much indeed, Brigadier General, for joining us with that perspective from Tel Aviv.
Thank you for having me. Bye-bye.